All right, guys, we're back with another Modified Rides podcast. Today, I'm diving into a different kind of vehicle collector, uh, influencer type of guy. Um, Today, I have Cliff Avril on. What's going on, man?
What's going on, my guy? Hope all is well on your end. I'm, doing my thing in retirement right now, but enjoying it.
So, you guys that are just straight car guys may not recognize Cliff, but anybody that's followed any kind of football career for the past couple decades would know Cliff Avril. I guess let's go ahead and touch on that. What have you done in your NFL
Oh
career?
man, I've been fortunate enough, like you just said.
Or should I say
Yeah, football
football
career.
career?
As you just said, 10-year NFL vet. Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, arguably part of one of the best defenses ever with the Seattle Seahawks. I know some of the guys out there in Carolina know a little bit about us if they're Panther fans because we've had our battles through the years. But and then also just again fortunate enough to just play in the league for a good bit of time, and now we're retired and moved on to doing some other things.
So, what was your position when you played?
Oh, I was defensive end. So all your favorite quarterbacks from 2008 to 2017, I've probably sacked all of them at least once, including Cam. So it's a heck of a run.
Nice, nice. Now you've done some stuff with media, football media, since you've left playing, didn't you? Where have you gone to with
Yes.
that?
Yeah, so when I first retired, I was very heavy into the media space. So I was working with ESPN, I was working with Fox, doing all the different shows. Also did a lot of work here in Seattle. Actually right now during preseason, I'm calling the games during preseason, doing a pregame, halftime, and postgame show. So I still do a little bit of dabbling into the media space, but when I first retired, I was into it very heavy until I pivoted into kind of doing my own thing. I'm an entrepreneur now. I got my own real estate company where we go out and we buy distressed multifamily properties, renovate them, and hold on to them for the long haul. That's kind of my passion right now because I don't look at it just as obviously as a money grab, but just more of a housing provider. We have a housing
Yeah.
issue in the country right now, and I'm trying to do my part in trying to solve a little bit of that and create housing for people.
Now, how did you get into doing that?
Well, I was investing in real estate even when I played. So I was
Okay.
investing in different funds and syndications and different things like that. But when I retired, like I said, trying to find my way and figure out what the next move was going to be. The media thing was fun, but I also honestly I was just tired of talking about football. I had been doing it for so long. But then also just diving into the real estate and understanding, why people do it. For the longest, a lot of people think that it's these wealthy individuals that own real estate. Well, really, it's a collective of people that come together to own real estate, right? So just understanding the mindset that goes behind that, and as I start diving deeper into it, it just intrigued me, and I just want to continue keep building it, but also giving my kids something to look forward to as well. It's the gift that can keep on giving if you
Yeah.
do it right.
Now, you just doing that in the Seattle area, or are you branched out with it?
No, I'm a little bit of everywhere. So I'm here in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. I'm in the Midwest as well, in Chicago. I'm also in the Southeast. I own a couple properties in Huntsville, Alabama as well.
Okay. Okay. So a little backstory: when I first met Cliff, I wound up doing a Dove magazine shoot for him. Wound up going down to his killer house down there in Waxhaw. You had three different vehicles. You had a G wagon, a Chevelle, and a Ferrari, didn't you?
Yep, Ferrari 458. Yep.
Yeah, so we set up you guys that has followed me for a while, on my Burrell Images side, may have seen the behind the scenes or actually the photos from it. That was a pretty fun shoot. I remember, one of my best friends, Chris, had went down with me, and I still laugh about this. We walked in the front. When you walked into Cliff's house, you look through the living room, you can see the pool. Cliff,
Yeah.
my buddy Chris starts undoing his belt and stuff, and Cliff's like, "Whoa, dude, what are you doing?" I thought we were swimming. He's like, "No, man, the pool's closed."
Yeah,
So
pool's closed, champ. No, man.
I,
That
I know we ran into you at I guess one of the Dub shows or one of TD shows or something, and I remember Chris was like, "Man, you got that pool open yet? I'm ready to go swimming."
I remember that. The Dub Show was cool too. So I forgot we even went to that, but Yeah, no, that was fun, man. It was fun getting to know you guys, coming out to the crib. And I usually don't have many people come over, but having you guys over, kind of doing that photo shoot was really cool, and putting the cars on display.
Yeah. I no, he handed us the Super Bowl ring, and if any of you guys have ever had a chance to put on a Super Bowl ring, because y'all going to be like me and not like Cliff and not get to play in the Super Bowl, but he handed that big ass Super Bowl ring. I put it on. I was like, man, that thing's massive. And once again, my buddy Chris put it on. He's like, how far do you think I can get if I take off running? And Cliff goes, you realize I chase people down for a living. So
That's what I do.
he's
You're
like,
not
oh
getting
man,
too
I'm
far.
good. Here you go.
Exactly. No, good times.
So you've played with a few cars like that. Being I focused on the modified vehicle stuff with my podcast. What got you into cars? Were you into cars as a kid, or was it once you started playing and kind of had the extra funds to play with them?
No, man. I've been into cars since I was a kid, man. Just my dad was into cars as well. I used to watch my dad. He was into flipping them. I would watch him. He used to have the little Camaro T top. Being able to take the little mirrors, the glass. I don't know if they were glass, but
Yeah,
anyways, being able to take
yeah, they were
being
glad.
able to take those out. But I used to watch him. He'd buy. Like the example, like this Camaro, he'd buy. On the side of the road for $1,500. He'd go in. He knew how to paint his own cars and all that stuff. So he'd paint them, redo the interior, drive it for like a year and a half, and then flip it. And I used to just see this all the time with him. And so he got me into it to the point where my first car was a Mazda Protege. Called it the Green Bean. It was so small because I was so tall. But
What year? What year
that was a
Protege? Do you
'96.
remember?
It was my brother. My brother gifted it to me. It was my
Okay.
first car, and I remember I put some 17s on. At this time, Fast and the Furious had just came out. Uh, Put some little 17s on it. Bought it off eBay. Lowered it. Put some coilovers on it. Bought some exhaust. Had some subs in the back. Had a little Alpine flip screen. That came later though, but I had a little Alpine flip screen in there. I just thought I was doing it up, and I was just buying all this stuff with my allowance money over time, saving it up, whatnot. And I was just really into cars. So every car that I've had, I can honestly say, for the most part, I've did some kind of modification to it. It's kind of just something I've always been into since I was a kid, and to this day, I'm still doing it.
I know all about the Protege stuff. So the yellow car on the wall,
Yeah.
that was my Protege 5 wagon I had back in the early 2000s. So
Wow.
it was lowered, crazy stereo. So no,
Yeah.
I've been in the Protege game before. So
Yeah, no, that was my baby, man. We call it the Green Bean. Like I said, it was my first car. Just remember just riding it around. It was a stick shift too, so it had the stick. So it was cool. That thing couldn't have had more than 120 horsepower in it. I don't know,
if
but
that.
yeah, if that. But it was mine. It was mine, and I thought I had to find a way to customize it.
So how young were you when you wound up getting signed? Because I know you went to college and played football. Where'd you play for
I
football?
went to Purdue University, and then I got
That's right.
drafted. I was 20. I had just turned 22. I had just turned
Okay.
22, I believe, or was turning 22, or should I say, when I got drafted. So, got drafted, and yes, of course, the first toy I went and bought was another car. I went and bought an Escalade. Uh,
I was going to say it had to be an
yeah,
Escalade.
yeah, I went and bought an Escalade, brand new off the lot. To be honest with you, it was one of the dumbest purchases I made, but I loved every bit of it because when you're young, this is the type of stuff you do, I guess. But bought an Escalade, black on black. I actually went to the dealership looking for a blue one because I wanted all my cars to be midnight blue. Like that was like how I envisioned whatever I was going to do was going to be midnight blue. But I ended up going with my uncle, and he's like, "Man, black is just so much. It just speaks elegance." You know what I mean? He was just like, "It looks black is just luxury on cars. Black luxury cars is everything." So somehow I respected him, so he convinced me to go with the black Escalade, and I literally, because I knew I was picking it up at some point, I literally had already before I even bought the car, I had already ordered the rims, ordered some 26s for it. Had already had the tent, a tent company right next to the rim shop set up. Had an appointment when I knew it the day I was gonna go pick it up. So I picked it up right around noon. Went straight to the rim shop, put the rims on it. Right after that, got it tinted up, 5% tint all the way around. And man, like you couldn't tell me nothing.
Yep.
Like I was the man around Jacksonville, driving that Escalade with the 26s on it.
So I guess you said Jacksonville. You got drafted by the Jaguars.
No, no, no. I was from Jacksonville. I'm sorry. I'm from
Okay,
Jacksonville, but
okay,
I got drafted to the Detroit Lions. But I
that's right.
was
I knew
just
it was a
back
different
home.
team.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was just back home, and that's where I bought the car.
Now I know we talked when I did your photo shoot. You said that you got drafted in college, so you quit college and went to the NFL, but you made it a point to go back and finish that degree. Correct?
Yes, yes, yes. So I left college early. I still had a half a semester to go. I still had another semester to go, should I say, to graduate. And so I played another season, and then I went back and graduated because I always had the mindset too of understanding. Like I just had my first baby boy as well, and I always had the mindset of understanding, like, yo, if you went to school for free and didn't graduate, how can I convince my kids that they should, go get their education, right? So I made it a point to go back to school, graduate, just so I can always have that hat to lean on and say, hey, look, I have my degree. You need to go get yours. So I thought it was extremely important. And also, I don't like starting things and not finishing them. So that was another big part
Yeah.
of it as well.
Now, how was it going back to college after being a paid NFL player? Was like people knew who you were, or were you just kind of like in the back of the class?
No, so luckily, and I did this intentionally because I knew I had a good chance of leaving early. Is I left a lot of my classes to be online classes.
Okay.
So I finished everything online, but I'll say I did go back to graduation, and
Okay.
walking was interesting because at this point I'm like 23, 24 years old, and everybody that's graduating is like 20, 21. And it was weird because I'm like, yo, like y'all look really young, and they're looking at me like you might be a little too old to be in here. But it was cool because some of them recognized who I was, just because not too many guys was getting drafted from my school, but some of them recognized who I was. But it was just cool to actually get that diploma and walk across stage, even though I was the oldest person there. Probably it was still really cool.
Yeah, it says a lot because a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna get this big career, get this money, and then you kind of forget where you started. So to see you go back and finish that, knowing it's gonna help you further in life and stuff, that says a lot about your character in general.
No, I appreciate that, and I also read this stat while I was in the NFL too, and I think I'll honestly admit that this plays a role in why it kind of lit a fire underneath me to continue to keep moving forward with trying to get my degree too. Was that guys that graduated from college tend to have longer careers in the NFL, and I don't know if that's a real stat still to this day, but to me, what that symbolizes is honestly guys that show that they can start something and finish it are more determined to do these things, right? And in the NFL,
Yeah.
like that's what you need. You need guys that aren't going to quit. You need guys that are resilient, that are determined to go after whatever goal they have to be able to have some success. So for me, that's what all of that symbolized was more of like, yo, you're literally 12 classes short or 12 hours short, which is 4 classes. You can go do that. You can go finish,
Yeah.
and I was fortunate enough to play 10 years as well. So I think all of that does correlate.
So how long were you at Detroit?
I was in Detroit for 5 years, and I was with the Seahawks for 5 years.
Okay. Uh, Now when you were you did do the Super Bowl. What year was the Super Bowl that you were in?
2013, my first year with Seattle. And I had an interesting journey up until that point. Like being in Detroit at that time, we were not necessarily the best team in the NFL. So much so, my rookie year, we went 0-16.
Damn.
First team in NFL history to go winless. But also, I became the first player in NFL history to go winless to winning a Super Bowl as well. So, again, I'm big on paying attention to kind of how the story has been written, but how the story is being written. And for me, that's just another form of showing determination, right? Like it's not about how things start. It's not about what you're going through right now. It's more about continue to keep moving forward, keep putting your best foot forward, and things will work itself out. And that's exactly how my career played out.
Now stepping onto a Super Bowl field versus a regular game field, as a player, is there any difference in how that feels to walk out on that field knowing you're at the Super Bowl?
Coach Carroll, I would say, did an amazing job of preparing us for the Super Bowl that year. Because his whole model that entire year was we're playing championship football. And he's the first coach that ever put that into perspective. And what that meant was he didn't care if it was a 1 o'clock game. He didn't care if it was a Sunday night or a Monday night game. He didn't care if it was a Thursday night game. We're going to prepare the same exact way. Do not change things up. So by the time we got to the Super Bowl, we had been playing championship football that entire year anyways. So it didn't make a difference to us. We were just gonna go out there and play our ball and not make the game bigger than what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's just football. Might be more
Yeah.
people watching, but we were one of the more popular teams at the time anyway. So it didn't make a difference to us. We were already kind of used to it. So when we got out there, we went out there and just played ball and didn't make it bigger than what it needed to be.
I guess you probably, while we're on the football subject, I guess you probably have one game that kind of sets out in your mind, like this game was pivotal for me because of X, Y, and Z. Like, do you have that game out of all those years?
Oh man, I have so many games that were pivotal, but I would say there was a game that I played in Detroit actually against the Minnesota Vikings. I want to say this is my fourth year in the league, and that was kind of my breaking out game in the sense of like I'm not just a decent defensive end. Like I'm top tier. Like I'm top 5, top 10 defensive ends in the league. And that would be the game that was kind of like that coming out party of showing guys that, yeah, he's legit. And from that point on, honestly, I just playing at a high level.
Well, what was the breaking point that made you say, I've had enough, it's time to retire?
Oh, well, I wasn't ready to retire. It was more of an injury, honestly, that put me out. I was because I was still trending in the right direction because I had just came off of a Pro Bowl year, still playing on an elite team, playing at a high level. But I ended up having a neck injury actually that put me out. It was a herniated disc in my neck, and like literally a centimeter away from potentially being paralyzed.
Damn.
Yeah, no, it was real. But it's crazy because I walked off the field. I was fine. I felt okay. Felt like a normal injury that I've had probably a few times in my career. But fortunately, the doctors didn't listen to me in the sense of like putting me back in the game. They sent me to the hospital, did some X-rays, MRIs, and all that stuff, and found out that it was more serious than I led to that I was leading on because of honestly how I felt. And as an athlete, as an NFL athlete, should I say, our mental strength and toughness is on a whole nother level. We play with so many different injuries and different things that, you know, injuries that a common person would have that would take them 4 or 5 months to bounce back from. It take us, honestly, because the season's so short, it might take us 4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how much rehab and all those different things that you go through. So having that injury is what put me out. I actually have a plate in my neck about this big. It doesn't stop me from doing anything or mobility or anything like that, but I have a plate in my neck from that injury, and that's kind of what put me out.
So I guess everybody can't be like TD, break their arm and play in the Super Bowl a week later. So
That's what I'm saying. We play. There's some tough guys. I remember I snapped my finger, and my pinky is kind of mingled up a little bit, but I snapped my pinky in like the second quarter of a game. I had him pop it back together, tape it up, and finish the game out. You know what I mean? Like, come to find out, that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? It's not a normal thing to do, but that's just
what you do?
yeah, that's just what you do. You know what I mean? You only have 16 opportunities to go out there, and if you can play, you're gonna play.
So you stepped out and I guess decided that that's it. I'm not going to go back after this injury heals.
Yeah, because I also was a guy that understood that someday this thing was gonna end, right? And when somebody tells you could have been paralyzed from something, you probably won't try it again. You know what I'm saying? But
Most people.
yeah, most people, but more so than anything too, man. Like I'm from Green Cove Springs, Florida, which is right outside of Jacksonville, by way of Haiti. Both of my parents are Haitian immigrants. Like I to play 10 years in the NFL, to be able to have taken care of my family, to be able to have done and seen so many different things. Certain risks aren't necessary at some point in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had two boys, young boys at the time. It wouldn't have made sense for me not to be able to be able to go back out there and risk being able to get hurt even more, and not being able to play with them, not go to their games, not be able to see different things. So for me, it just didn't make sense. And I had up until that point, I had seen everything the NFL could provide for me. Right, I've lost every game. I've won a Super Bowl. I was a franchise player, Pro Bowl player. I've seen every aspect of the game. So it wouldn't have made sense to keep trying to play. Yeah, I probably would have made some more money, but at what expense? It wouldn't have made any sense for me.
Yeah. So me and Cliff also have a mutual connection. Sean at Ultimate Audio in Lexington, South Carolina, has done all my interiors up to this point. Has done some work for you. So when I shot his dub feature, we got talking. I was like, oh, I got a truck at Sean's right now. I was like, oh yeah, well Sean did this and that. So that's one of those connections as well. How did you hook up with Sean? Because I know he does a lot of ball player stuff.
Yeah, no, Sean. So me being in Charlotte when I during the off season, I used to live in Charlotte. TD, I think, is who introduced me to him. Because obviously Thomas Davis, he's very much into the car scene, and he made the intro, and it's been up from there. Sean is amazing, man. I have nothing but respect for Sean and what he's been able to do with so many of my toys over the years. Well, actually, from time to time, I still reach out to him about, getting some wheels or something like that. But being out here in the Pacific Northwest, trying to get work done out there and then getting cars shipped out here,
Yeah.
it's a little tough. But when I move back out to Charlotte, me and Sean are going to connect again. But does amazing job, man. Does amazing work, and there's nothing too big for him. And if it is, he gonna find a way to figure it out to make it awesome. And then the customer service too, like.
Oh
What I mean?
yeah.
He's just A1 when it comes down to all that stuff. So hats off to Sean and Ultimate Audio out there, man. They're amazing. There needs to be more shops like that in the country.
Well, I know when I had Mario Addison on, he said the same thing. TD had hooked him up with Sean, so seems TD might be getting some kind of kickback from Sean or something. All these referrals. So.
He should. But that's what the OGs do, right? TD is older than me. He's older than Mario. Like we're gonna the young players are gonna look up to the older players, right? We're gonna reach out to the older players that are in whatever space, and the good vets will put you on game. And TD was a good vet, even though I didn't play with TD as far as we're on the team, but we had so much respect for one another that he was willing to hook me up with his contact.
So after you bought that first Escalade and you got in, did you start buying on a regular basis, or did you kind of take a break for a minute then start buying? Because I know you usually have a few at one time.
Yeah, no. So bought the Escalade. Like I said, put the 26s on it. Ended up putting some subs in there a few months later. Then I was big on I wasn't a big spender early on. I bought the Escalade and I was still living at my mom's house. What I mean? Even when I played in the league, I lived with my mom my first 3 years in the league during the off season. So I wasn't. I was just treading light until I got to that next contract, really. But I bought the Escalade. But then the following year, I did buy a Charger, a Dodge Charger. Put some 24s on that thing, black on black. And every single car that I bought from that Escalade on out has all been black cars. I only do black or matte black cars. So I bought the Escalade.
But your wife does all white, though, right?
All white, yes. I think that's her way of getting back at me of being different. But yeah, she does. She does all white. So bought the Escalade, bought the Charger, did the same exact thing. Put some 24s on it, put some subs in it, customized it out. Then I started making a little bit more money. So I waited like 2 years to start making a little bit more money. Then I think I bought at this time, Jeeps were in. So I went and got a Jeep and customized the Jeep. I think I put 26s on that. Black on white. He was able to take the top off, all that good stuff. Subs in that. Bought an M6. Now I didn't have all these cars at the same time, so I just want to make that clear. But at most I have 3 at a time. 3 is the most I think I had at once. And then I would just kind of rotate them out. Bought the Jeep, bought an M6. They got rid of the M6. Then I started getting into the fancy stuff after that point. I went and bought me the Ferrari. I bought the Chevelle. I got rid of the Escalade. Bought the G-Wagon. What else did we buy? We bought. Then I went and got me a Rolls Royce Ghost. That was probably, arguably, honestly, one of my most favorite cars because you get the best of both worlds with that car.
A little power, a little luxury.
Yeah, exactly. What else we bought, man? I mean, I had a 4x4 G-Wagon after that. No,
Is there any vehicle you've kept the whole time that you still have?
no, no. I got rid of everything was on a rotation for the most part. Um, but I would
I figured that
say
Chevelle you would have kept.
so. So funny story with the Chevelle. It took like 2.5 years to build, and this is partly my fault because I didn't go to Sean. This is one of my mess ups not going to Sean. But it took 2.5 years to build the Chevelle, ground up build. Had the L, what is it, the LS3? Yeah, I think the LS3 engine in
Yeah,
it.
you had the LS in it. Yeah.
I mean, beautiful, beautiful cars. But now, if you can tell the theme of all my cars, they were all fairly new though. And this was my first old school. I didn't know with old schools that there's always something wrong with them, no matter what.
Yep.
No matter what you do to it, there's always something wrong with them. And during the off season, I'm riding the Chevelle. It's blazing hot outside in Charlotte. It's probably like 90, 95 degrees, the humidity. And I got the AC bumping, I'm riding. And I hit a pothole and the car just dies on me. And I'm like, what's going on here? It's not cranking nothing, no power, no nothing. So now I'm like on the highway, lifting up the hood, and it's so hot, and I'm just drenched at this point because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Can't figure out what's going on. So much so, a
Yeah.
police officer actually stops and lets me get in the car with him. He's like, "Hey, let's just call you a tow truck, man. It's hot out here." So a police officer stops, and we wait on the tow truck to come. And I actually got it sent to Sean. So spent a bunch of money to get it sent to Sean or whatever. Sean gets it, and he's like, "Man, you're gonna be mad about this." He's like, "It was just the holster, the power holster or whatever." Just got disconnected. So really, all he had to do was plug it back up,
No,
and boom, car's back to normal. And I was like, you know what? That was way too much work for I just hated the just being hot. That threw me off. So, anyways, had a couple other small issues like the hitting of the pothole, the dang on window, fell off track, and whatever. So just a bunch of little tedious stuff. And I just like to jump in my car and go.
yeah.
So I would say I held onto that car for about 8 months, and then one of my teammates bought it off of me. But that's one of my only regrets, though. I wish I would have held on to that one. That was a fun car.
So I know in the last few years you've gotten into doing some of the rallies and stuff with some of these supercars.
Yeah.
I know. I guess you got into it with I guess with the McLaren.
No, my first car that I did the rally in was a wide body Hellcat Challenger.
Okay.
Uh, and in my head, because I had never done one before, um, in my head, I'm like, okay, the Challenger would be different. Everybody's gonna be driving Lambos and all this other stuff, but I got 600 something horsepower. I tuned it, but I had a wide body with 24s on it. The worst idea ever. You know what I'm saying? Looked amazing, had a lot of power, had a lot of torque, but had no traction. Like I couldn't get anywhere. Like it looked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it felt like a boat going around, these windy roads, like unlike some of these other sports cars or whatever. But it was awesome. It was a fun experience, but that taught me that I needed to get more into the exotics. I need to get an actual exotic or hypercar or something to be able to take on these windy roads and at a decent speed. And then my next car, the next year, I took a McLaren 720. And I did the gold. I've done Gold Rush Rally, which is the rally that we're talking about. And I did that. Did it in a Black Panther wrap, and that's when it was like, okay, these are the cars I need to drive for real. Like that was a difference
Yeah.
maker as far as for a car to drive on a rally and being able to, be in and out of traffic and moving. It's made for that. That's the type of car that's made for that.
Well, I know you had that McLaren at the Dub Show. I remember I said it. And I'm like, I'm way shorter than you, and it was a struggle for me to get in. I was like, how the hell you get in this car as tall as you are?
Yeah, no, but see, that's the interesting thing. So I've looked into Lambos, I've looked into Ferraris, I looked into all those different cars. I mean, heck, I had a Ferrari. Those were all cars that were fun to drive, but no longer than like 30, 45 minutes because I was so
Yeah.
tall and big. The McLaren actually was the only one that I could sit in that was comfortable, that had the headspace, that was wide enough, that allowed me to be able to sit in it for an hour, hour and a half, get out, stretch out, get some gas, and get right back in and go. That was the only one. And on top of that, it performed really well as well. And the one that you're talking about actually wasn't the that was my first McLaren was the one I was just talking about with the Black Panther
Yeah,
um, wrap on it. The one you're talking about was actually an Enlargo 720 that I got
oh,
built.
that's right.
Yeah, and it was one of 16 in the world, and that thing was a monster. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful, and it was matte black, of course. And that one was the one that was at the Dub Show. That was a head turner. That it looked like a little spaceship. That thing was amazing.
Now, what are you running with now?
You know what's funny? So I had the 720 in Largo. I had the 4x4 G wagon. I had what else did I have at the time? And I think I had my S class at the time. Uh, I sold every car when I said I was going to start my real estate company that I talked about earlier. I sold all my cars to buy me, or not to buy me, but to get me into the real estate game. And I promised myself that I have to be successful because I need to buy my cars back. So I'm at that stage right now of here in the next 6 to 12 months. I think I'm going to start buying some of my toys back. But what I'm driving right now is the Escalade V.
Okay.
And she's a beast, man. She's a beast.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, it's almost kind of unreal that a car that big should have that much power and that move that fast. Sounds amazing, and it's a family car too. I'm driving the Escalade V right now, but I plan on getting. I have a S63 on order that should be here before the end of the year. I have another G wagon coming in as well, and then I'm debating on which sports car I want, but I think I want to get the Ferrari 812.
Now, when you do these rallies, as somebody that's played with a few different kinds of cars, what is it about the rallies that set that apart from the other events or other types of driving? Because a lot of us don't get to do the rallies because they're, for one, they get expensive on what they are, but it's like
Yep,
it's a different level of car enthusiast. So what
one
draws
thousand
you
percent.
to that?
1,000. It definitely is a different level of car enthusiast. I mean, because I'm in awe sometimes. Because I mean, it's Bugattis, Ferraris, Lambos, Bugattis, like all kinds of. And I think what makes me gravitate towards it more is because um, rooms with these guys. Like none of us would ever be in a room together, but cars bring us together, right? Cars. We have one common goal. We love cars. We love the car world. And then getting to meet these folks. I'm big on networking. I love to network. I love to meet people in different spaces. And in this particular space, the car world, these like the Gold Rush Rally in particular, you'll find doctors, you'll find lawyers, you'll find YouTubers, you'll find athletes, you'll find a wide range of different people that would never hang out with one another, but cars brought them together. It's like a locker room,
Yep.
to be honest with you. And for me, I think that's what's unique about it and what's special about it. And that's why I like it, is because I I just get to meet so many interesting people. And our icebreaker is, hey, yo, what car are you driving? Oh man, that's cool. And then, oh, what is it that you do? And then next thing you know, oh man, I know such and such too. And now you have a conversation with these folks. Now you build relationships, and you'd be surprised how connected you are. But the cars is what kind of brings you together. So that's one of the main reasons why I love kind of going and being in that space.
So other than the real estate aspect, what is in the future for Cliff?
Oh man, real estate, man. I just want to keep building my real estate company out. I have my foundation as well. I didn't bring that up, but I have my foundation as well, which is geared towards juvenile diabetes. But also, I have a mentoring program where I mentor these 8 young men. I've had them since they were in third grade. Now they're all sophomores and juniors in high school. So those two things outside of my family are keeping me busy.
What's the foundation?
It's called the Cliff Avril Family Foundation. Go to cliffavrilfamilyfoundation.org to see all the different work that we've done throughout the years. Like I said, I'm Haitian. We built schools in Haiti. We built homes in Haiti. Do a wide range of different things here in the city as well, Seattle, in Jacksonville as well. So I would say those two things outside of my main job of being an Uber driver for my kids in the evening. Those are the things that keep me busy right now.
Do you see your kids following any kind of football plans?
I don't know. I don't. They used to love it, but now that I'm not a part of it anymore, they're kind of falling off on it. They like every other sport but football. But I'm going to force them to play at least one season. of football to make sure they get a little tough. I need them to be tougher. Things are a little too easy for them right now.
I think that's all kids that age now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, they're heavy into basketball, soccer. They play a wide range of different sports. Tennis, all the different things outside of football right now.
Well, I know you're, pretty heavy on some of the social media stuff. What is a way people can find you on social media to keep up with some of your foundation stuff and your toys that you play with and everything?
Yes. So go on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and what's the other one?
X.
Uh, X. All of those are at Cliff Avril. CliffAvril. You keep up with me. Mostly on TikTok and Instagram, though. Those are where I post the most about a little bit of everything. To be honest with you, I don't post much about my cars though, because for me, I love cars for me, and I don't necessarily I don't post them because I feel like I'm bragging. So I won't post much unless I'm on the rally or something like that. I don't want anybody to ever
Yeah.
feel like I'm right. Like I genuinely love my cars for me. It's a part of me, so it's one of those things. It's kind of like I don't post my kids as much. I would say my cars are kind of in that
Yeah.
same boat.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to have you on, just because I know you are a car
Mhm.
guy. A lot of people think, oh, this guy's done this and played these games and they got money, so they're buying cars. It's like, no, like people like you and Mario and stuff were car guys
Yes.
before, so that sets you guys
No
apart for
doubt, no
sure.
doubt. Now I've been doing this, like I said, since I was in high school. Like I mean, every single car from my Mazda Protege to in college, I had a Acura SLX. That thing, I bought some 22s off eBay for that. Like I've been into cars. Like that's my thing. And it's not new to me. I'm not doing it just because I got a couple dollars. I'm doing it because I genuinely like cars. I genuinely like. It's like it's just I think it's a hobby of mine that I haven't been able to dabble in much
Yeah.
last couple years. But like I said, I'm gonna start getting back into it real soon.
Cool. Well, I know you've got some commitments to handle this afternoon, so I definitely appreciate you coming on. We tried to link up in person. He was in Charlotte one time. I was like, well, I'll go down and see my daughter, link up, and do all that, but it just schedule just didn't work out. So I'm glad we finally
Yeah,
got this handle and got you on. So
no, I
I
appreciate it, man.
look forward to
No,
seeing what.
I appreciate you having me, man. And also, man, good. Hats off to creating a platform for all the car enthusiasts, man. I think it's really cool, and I think it's really cool to see. I love seeing people grow. I love watching people grow. And seeing, from the first time I met you doing a car shoot, I don't know, it's been 11 years ago now, to seeing you continue to still
Been a
be in this
while.
space and making a difference. It's pretty cool, man. So hats off to you as well.
Hell, I still have the hat you signed for me at the photo shoot hanging in the office here. So
That's cool. That's real cool. No, man, that's good
hangs with
stuff,
all my
man.
covers.
That's awesome. That's
All right. Well,
awesome.
appreciate you having y'all, man.
No, thank you, man. Best of luck with everything.